It was interesting to read the report in the Age this morning about the interim report from the Royal Commission into the mental health sector, and a number of recommendations have been made to the government to improve this space. And it was encouraging to hear the Premier of Victoria say that they're going to implement all these recommendations, including a special tax to help increase the funding to support all aspects of the mental health arena. And I think it was quite troubling, and something which many of us have heard about obviously in the recent times, about the lack of sufficient funding, the lack of sufficient focus on mental health. Fortunately, that is changing, and of course, having a whole Royal Commission into it and seeing how crucial it is to every single Victorian, to every single person in the community, every single person here in Australia and around the world, how mental health should be equally treated like all the other health sectors that we put so much money and time into. And unfortunately, so many people are susceptible, all of us, me and you. It could happen to any of us. We could go through a difficult patch, we could go through a tough time, and we want there to be that support to help us through and navigate through those difficult times. But I think every story in the Torah, and this week's parasha is no different, the parasha of Toldot, we don't only look at the literal interpretation. We can't go away from the literal, but we can also find metaphoric meaning. And I think there's a beautiful metaphoric message in relation to mental health. Rivka, it says that she was struggling when she was pregnant. She had Jacob and Esau, the twins, and they were struggling in the womb, vying for, when she passed a good place. Jacob, stood when she passed a negative place. Esau, took control. And it was this ongoing struggle internally. And I think this does represent this ongoing struggle that we all face. Sometimes the voice of Yaakov, the voice of Jacob, is a voice of peace, of tranquility, of happiness, of encouragement, of enthusiasm, of being proactive. And then there's the voice of Esav, a voice of being lethargic or depressed or angry or upset or having anxiety, drawing us down, burning out. And this struggle can happen. Something might occur in our lives which brings to the forefront one of these voices. You might go through a difficult and stressful time. You might go through a bereavement or a job loss or something. And the voice of Esau takes precedence, and all of a sudden it weighs us down. And it's hard to find at that point the voice of Yaakov. It's very difficult to get out of it. And it's interesting because even Rivka had to go. It says she went to go, inquire by the word of God. She needed that external support. She needed someone else. But sometimes we can help ourselves. We can do something to try and bring the voice of Yaakov. But every now and again, we do need to find that external support. And I think what the government has done today, and hopefully will implement, is recognizing that there's this struggle, that all of us face the struggle. We need to be there to support the voice of Yaakov. We need to be there to support the voice of positivity in people, to bring it out, to help nurture it. And of course, when the Esav does arise, we have the mechanism to deal with it, and as I said, to bring Yaakov out once again. Wishing you and yours a Shabbat Shalom and a wonderful weekend ahead.